Hey everyone, happy Monday. Joe here, Sports Grid. It's time for Puckett with Joe over here on Sports Grid TV. I want to thank you guys for joining me here today. Kicking off the show a little bit early so we can all get into game time decisions. It kicks off at 6 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot of games on the ice to go over today, and we got kind of an odd schedule this week with Thanksgiving and everything going on. So there'll be no Puckett with Joe tomorrow, but we will be back on Wednesday. No Puckett with Joe on Thursday, but back on Friday. And Wednesday and Friday slates are completely jam packed. So anticipate a longer show. And if you're watching it on Rewind, make sure you hit that 1.5 times a speed. It gets you through the show a lot quicker, and all of the bets are still understandable at that speed. But we do have, like I said, a lot of games on the slate today. I believe it's 7 games on the slate. We're going to kick off with those games right now. Now, I do have some player props I'm liking in these games as well. We're going to kick off the first game. 7 p.m. Eastern between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. Now, all odds over at FanDuel. Current odds here for the Edmonton Oilers coming in at -105. Looking at the Florida Panthers favorite at home at -114. Total 6.5. Now, that 6.5 is so juicy to that over. You'd have to bump it up to a 7 to find some value. The over 6.5 currently listed at -162. So if you can find a 7 with better odds there, I do think you're still better playing the over in this one. That under, though, looks interesting at +132, but I look at the goaltending matchup here. I can't get on the under. The Edmonton Oilers bringing up a rookie goalie here from the AHL. And he's been in the AHL a while, and he has been around the league for some time, Calvin Prickard here. But I don't know if I can trust in him. 4 games so far this season in the AHL. He's got a 2.03 goals against average and a .939 save percentage. Not just a huge jump. And we see these guys come up from the AHL and either do fantastic or they don't. I'm not sure the faith I have in him behind the defense here of Edmonton. They're going to have to play both ways of the puck, and we know Edmonton struggles to do that in a lot of these cases. Now, they're allowing 29.1 shots on goal per game, so they are locking down a little bit more defensively, but I don't know, you guys. If he was as good as I would have hoped, I think they would have sent Campbell down a long time ago. So I'm just not buying into this game being able to stay to that under. We know the Florida Panthers have been so strong offensively, and Edmonton in the same situation. Now, Bobrovsky is confirmed here for the Florida Panthers, and I do like what we've seen out of Bobrovsky. We know the Florida Panthers have been making us money in that first period on that puck line. Just not sure I can get there in this one, but because I do think this is a back and forth battle from the very start. I'm going to take both teams to score in the first period. You guys know how much I love that. That's coming in up +138 for this game. I also think we're going to see that early goal. Now, could it be the Florida Panthers? Absolutely. But could it be the Edmonton Oilers scoring early on Bobrovsky? I think it's possible as well. The goal in 5 minutes. First goal in 5 minutes of the game's coming in at +150. I think it's a great opportunity with two teams that are so strong offensively. The power play is getting better for the Edmonton Oilers, and they still don't have the kill that they used to have last season. The Florida Panthers take limited penalties, which is so crazy to think. You know how strong this team is with Reinhart and Kachuk here. And then the Oilers, you look at Connor McDavid and Kane and everyone there. So I do think first period, both teams to score +138 and the +150. So if you're new here watching a Puckett with Joe, you'll soon start to realize I look for that plus money. I don't like taking a -145, -150 on that first period over 1.5. I believe the first period is going over 1.5. And I think both teams are scoring. I'm looking at that both teams to score. If I think one team will dominate, do you have a game like that? I would look at that puck line in the first period. And I love the puck lines in the first period because it takes out that whole third period desperate team pulling their goalie, empty netters it takes out, but it also takes out the fact of those teams being able to get that goal and not allow the other team to cover that puck line. So lots comes into play there. I just want to give a big shout out to all of you for being here today. Really appreciate it. Let's have a great night. This one, yeah, James, I love this game to go to the over. Columbus over last night. I'm glad you cashed on that one, James. Yeah, the Panthers can win this one. Absolutely. I think the Panthers can win. They come into this one rested. We've seen the underdog and the road team really favored in this matchup. So I'm a little hesitant. We've also seen these two teams trend to the under, and we know Florida's been playing some tight under games as of late with their defense really stepping up. This team not getting those penalties and only allowing 28 shots on goal per game with the goaltending again for Edmonton. I just don't know if I have faith in that under. But Edmonton the road team has had that advantage. So if you want to take a little bit of flyer on Edmonton, I would take a flyer personally on the Florida Panthers, but I do just like those first period bets better. Next game, Boston. Boston taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now the Boston Bruins coming in, of course, as the favorite. This team has only lost one game in a regulation. They're minus 140 favorite. Plus 116 for the Tampa Bay Lightning, who we know have had their struggles, especially defensively. This team allowing teams to really run all over them. Total 6.5. Now that's 6.5 juice to the under at minus 128. I do expect both teams to lock down defensively. I would look at this one to stay under that total. I'm not sure if I'm completely sold on the Boston Bruins. Yes, this team's absolutely phenomenal. Both of these teams, though, have a strong power play, have strong face-offs. The Tampa Bay Lightning at home, it looks like a nice opportunity to get a home dog at plus 118. Now, I know there's still goaltending issues for this team, and I can't wait till we can start looking at Andrei Vasilevskiy back. He's still listed as out. I was really hoping we'd see him back this week. Talks are he's going to be back within the week. So I'm really hoping we see him out because it's crucial for this team. This team sitting 8-6-4 on the season, 5-2-2 at home. They need Vasilevskiy back in the lineup because this defense is really their Achilles heel. They're allowing 32.4 shots on goal per game, 3.61 goals on average. With Andrei Vasilevskiy in there, he's a stronger goalie to give them that extra edge. Now, looking at the Boston Bruins, this team's still allowing 30.6 shots on goal per game. We know the Tampa Bay Lightning averaging that 29.9, and they've got a really strong power play. Or the Boston Bruins can't get in the box because if they do, well, their penalty kill is still really strong at 91.5, but I do like the Lightning's ability to score on the power play. I was looking at Kucherov for his power play points here. The books are really catching up on a lot of these player props. Kucherov, I swear we could get him last week for the power play point coming in at, minus 110. He's now minus 160 for the power play point. I'd look at him maybe for the anytime goal at plus 140. I think there is value. Now, the Bruins have dominated in the last 7 meetings, winning 6 of those. So Bruins look like the right side. Something tells me the Lightning could be able to get this win here at home. So I'm going to take a chance on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I like this one to stay to that under. Like I said, that under is juiced. I think this is a defensive lockdown game for both of these teams. This is a game, though, I do believe has a chance of going to overtime. That overtime coming in at plus 350, I think has so much value. If this goes to overtime, I think it's a 2-2. Overtime, it only puts us at 5 goals. So I am taking this one to overtime and to the under. Big shout out. Thanks for joining us here, Courtney. Okay, the next game on a deck. New York Rangers taking on the Dallas Stars. Rangers have been rolling so hot. You guys have won the last 4. They've made us some money. We had them versus the Devils in that last game, and I was kind of scared. We got Jack Hughes back in the lineup, and he came out so phenomenally strong. Igor Shesterkin got in net on Saturday night. He's back for the New York Rangers. He's in net again tonight. He's a little shaky to start, and that's what you expect when a goalie hasn't been on the ice for a while. So the New York Rangers roll in here at plus 112. Minus 134 here for the Dallas Stars. Total 5.5, minus 132 to the over, plus 108 to that under. Looking at these two teams, it's hard not to back the Dallas Stars here, especially off that last loss. They got that loss to the Colorado Avalanche in a game. Seriously, you guys, it looked like they were going to control that whole game. They got off to a hot start. They blew it in the third period. The Colorado Avalanche won that 6-3. If you were watching that one and you could have live bet it when the Dallas Stars went up as much as they did, I hope you grab the Colorado Avalanche plus the points, because that has been an absolute moneymaker, live betting these hockey games. So that's something Scott and I did live on Sports Grid. So hopefully some of you joined us over there, because I tell you, Colorado's ability to come back. Now, looking at this game here, though, versus the Rangers tonight, The Rangers and the road team do have the trends in their direction. The Rangers have been so strong on the road, winning 6 of their last 7 road games. They've also, between these two, the road team has won 5 of the last 6 meetings, and the Rangers have won 5 of the last 7 in Dallas. So we have those advantages. They've also won 4 of the last 5 overall versus the Dallas Stars. But I'm looking at the Dallas Stars coming in here off a loss, and I can't see them losing 2 in a row, especially with how they lost that one. They're coming in here with a day's rest, and this team off a day's rest has been strong. They have been strong overall, winning 4 of their last 5 as well. This one for me is the Dallas Stars and the under. Now, it's crazy to take an under at 5.5. I would look for this game if we see that early goal come in. Wait till this one goes up to 6.5 and then bet it to that over. Or to the under, sorry. But when you look at the Rangers, you look at how well they've done. It's a hard one to step in front. They got the win over the Devils. That was a 5-3 one. Columbus Blue Jackets had a shootout win, 4-3. The Minnesota Wild, 4-1. And the Detroit Red Wings, they won 5-3. Again, I just think the Stars off a loss is something I don't want to step in front of. They also will have Scott Wedgwood in net tonight and not Ottinger. So he's got a 3.01 goals against average, a 0.917 save percentage. And again, Igor Shesterkin in net for the New York Rangers. It's going to be a great game. Could this one go to overtime? Absolutely, this one could. But I'm not betting this one to overtime. Okay. The Colorado Avalanche, speak of the Devils, well, not the Devils, the Avs. The Colorado Avalanche coming in here at minus 162 on the road in Nashville, a place that they have dominated. Now they're the total 6.5 minus 110 to the over and the under, and the Preds coming in at plus 134. You guys, this is one that could go to OT. This game to go to overtime is a plus 370. I think this is an absolute battle from the start. A game that they do trend to that over, and I would look at this one going to the over because of overtime. I think it's 3-3 going into overtime. The 7th goal wins this one. So strong trends to the over. 9 of the last 12 meetings have gone over that total. Saros confirmed here for the Nashville Predators, and Georgiev confirmed for the Colorado Avalanche. Now, talent on both sides of the puck. If you're looking for goal scorers in this one, for the Nashville Predators, Ryan O'Reilly coming in at plus 210, Philip Forsberg at plus 160. I love both of those guys to be able to do that. I also am looking at Cale Makar here for the Colorado Avalanche. There's no way I can look past him. Cale Makar coming in at plus 280 for the anytime goal. Now, he has 4 goals and 20 assists on the season with 24 points. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And we know that he's a defensive player, but his ability to get those goals is insane. The Avs come in winning their last 3, and we see the Nashville Predators off that win over the Chicago Blackhawks. That was a 4-2 win at home for them. The Avs got the win over the Stars, Ducks, and Kraken. So the Avs, they're just so strong versus the Preds. I would look at them here. Their ability to put that offensive pressure on teams is incredible, and the Predators have been struggling to stop those quick transitions. So I do think they'll struggle as soon as the Avs get those breakaways in this one. I'm going to look at the Avs in the first period. I do think they'll get off to that hot start here. The Avs in the first period on the puck line, laying the half a goal, coming in at plus 148. I love the value in that. I'm looking for this one to go to overtime. Little sprinkle on the plus 370 to go to overtime, and the over 6.5. Okay, next game, you guys. How's everyone's day going, by the way? Let me know. Let me know how your Sunday fun day went, what you're thinking of tonight's games. Okay, we've got the LA Kings taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Minus 152 for the Kings, plus 126 for the Coyotes. Total 6.5, juice to that over at minus 122. Now, these two teams played twice in October. This is a really interesting matchup here because those 2 games that we saw kind of had the reverse start in each. The last 2 games in October, one of the goalies was pulled in that first period on both sides of the puck and in different games because of the other's team ability to just score nonstop on them. So when we look at the last game, Phoenix Copley was in net for the LA Kings. Just like tonight. He got yanked after allowing 3 goals and 6 shots on goal. Okay, so we have that factor. And then the game before was a couple of days before that. Connor Ingram, who is in net for the Arizona Coyotes tonight, he allowed 3 goals on 9 shots on goal and was yanked. So we are seeing the same goalie matchup. We're seeing these same goalies that got yanked versus each other the last time here. So for me, this is an easy one. First period over 1.5. It's juiced out minus 156. That'd be a parlay piece. Both teams to score in the first period. It's coming in at plus 154. I love that. I do think we're going to see those goal scorers in this one. I don't think it's the Arizona Coyotes that score 2 in the first period, though. So when I'm looking at this, I really do think that first period, because of how strong Arizona came out in the last one on Cobley, I think the Kings know they have to get off to that hot start to get the win here. And they did win both of those last games. They were able to come back, but I just do think they won't overlook Arizona, especially at home. I would look first period 2-1 with the Arizona Coyotes getting 1 goal, the Kings getting 1. So I do like the first period puck line here for the LA Kings. So I'm going big on the first period. The first period puck line the half a goals plus 152. Both teams to score in the first period plus 154. And if you want to just take the over 1.5, you could parlay that. That's coming in at minus 156. Now, you can look at goal scorers here for the LA Kings, and it is a really strong way to go. We know how much talent they have with Kempe and everyone over there, but the book's really juicing those goal scorers, so you're not getting as much value. If you look at who can score for the Arizona Coyotes, and I keep talking about these guys each and every game because they are so strong at getting those goals for Arizona. Clayton Keller for the anytime goal plus 160 and Logan Cooley at plus 280. I do have faith in those guys to be able to get things done tonight. Brian liking Kings in the over. I agree. It should be Kings and the over. Yeah. And they are so dominant on the road, winning 7 of their games on the road. And that's all they've played, and 5-2 on the road on that puck line. So when they've been winning, they've been coming out and getting nice big wins. They also limit their penalties, which is a good thing against the Arizona Coyotes because the Arizona Coyotes have a strong power play. They're converting on 29.5% of their power play, but it is a strong kill. Here, the 6th best kill for the LA Kings at 89.1%. It's crazy, their ability to kill those penalties. The over has trended nicely with these two teams, 4-1 in the last 5 meetings to that over. Okay, that's where I'm going with that game, you guys. Let's talk about my Calgary Flames. I'm nervous for this. So the Calgary Flames in Seattle to take on the Seattle Kraken. Now, Calgary got the win in the last one. Okay. And you would think that instant revenge for Calgary, but Calgary actually has played really solid versus the Seattle Kraken. The Seattle Kraken are at home minus 122 plus 102 here for the Calgary Flames, total 6.5. Now that's 6.5 juiced to the under at minus 118. Looking at the goalie matchup here, we have Dan Vladar confirmed for Calgary. He's got a 3.92 goals against average and a save percentage. It's not great at 0.858. So Seattle should be able to score on him here. Grubauer hasn't looked as good as we know that he can be. So I'm waiting for that game where you're just like, there's a Grubauer I know. He's got a 3.27 goals against average and a 0.889. And yes, he has had a couple games like that, but I'm looking for like a span where we're like, it's Grubauer. You don't bet against Grubauer. And I just haven't seen that. Now, Calgary is off that shootout loss to the New York Islanders. They lost that one 5-4. And then the Seattle Kraken, they've won their last 2. They've had a really hard schedule as of late, and I'm kind of a little bit worried here for the Seattle Kraken. So they got the win over Vancouver 4-3, which was a hard game. They had the shootout win versus the Islanders 4-3, and then before that, they had that overtime loss to the Edmonton Oilers, and then they had the loss to the Avs. So you look, the Avs, the Oilers, the Islanders, and Vancouver. Those last 4 games have been hard games on the Seattle Kraken. The last time these two teams played was back on November 4th. And like I said, Calgary got a big one. It was a 6-3 win in a game where we saw Seattle go up and Calgary came back in that third period. So Calgary, one of those teams, if they go down tonight, you can count on this team to keep going to the very end and battle this one out. Calgary was able to get 4 goals in that third period. So just complete fall apart by the Seattle Kraken. So it was the same goalie matchup. You got to look at those shots on goal. The Seattle Kraken weren't able to get those shots on goal in the last game. Dan Vladar took 20 shots on goal, saved 17. So allowing those 3 to go in. And Grubauer stopped 25 of 29 shots on goal. So Calgary was able to fire off more shots. The Seattle Kraken weren't able to get it done as the defense really stepped up of Calgary. Now, Calgary has a really strong kill here at 85.7%. Their defense also limiting opponents to 29.1 shots on goal. We know the Kraken are allowing these shots to come in, and Calgary is firing at will, 32.8. So if you think Grubauer is going to have a solid night, you would look at his safe shots on goal, because I do think Calgary gets off more shots than they did in the last one. Last time they had 29. Grubauer let in a lot more. I don't think he has such a bad performance in this one, allowing that many goals. Still, when you look at Dan Vladar, he allowed a lot of goals on the shots that he actually faced. So neither goalie was excellent. I am looking at the first period to go over that 1.5. I expect both of these teams to come out with urgency right out of the gate. The over 1.5 coming in at -132. Both teams to score in the first period is a solid way to go in this one. That's coming in at +164. A little bit more of a sprinkle on both teams to score. We could see one of these teams go up 2-0 in that first period, still pushing us over that 1.5. But Calgary has been the strong trend versus the Seattle Kraken. They've won their last 5 meetings in Seattle, and they're also 7-1 in the last 8 meetings overall. Okay, and these teams trend over. 4-1 in the last 5 meetings to the over. I'm not going to bet that over. I'm just looking at the first period. I do think Grubauer has to be stronger in this one. And Dan Vladar, while he's not great, I think he'll get a little bit more support from his defense again. The last game on deck, you guys, we have the San Jose Sharks taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Now, who doesn't love what the Vancouver Canucks are doing this season? The books certainly do. They are such huge favorites. You gotta find a way to find some value in this one. They're -360. Yeah, I said that on the money line. Don't even throw that into a parlay, because that's really gross. -1.5 on that puck line is -140. Still, that's too much juice on the puck line for me. I don't like going there. If you think the Vancouver Canucks can get a big win, I would do an alternate puck line laying 2.5 here. The San Jose Sharks, if you think they can keep this one tight, which is going to be a hard feat because this team cannot score on the road, +1.5 for the San Jose Sharks at +116. Now that total, interesting that the total isn't juiced to the over. -104 to the over 6.5, -118 to the under. I think it's because the books believe the San Jose Sharks won't be able to score in this one on Demko. Demko confirmed in net, which I actually was surprised it is Demko, but with no games tomorrow, I guess they're okay playing him again on Wednesday because they face the Colorado Avalanche on Wednesday. So I would have thought it would have been Casey DeSmith tonight and not Demko, given him an extra day of rest here, but I guess they're fine with that. They then have the Kraken on Friday. And then these two teams play again next Saturday. So the next time Vancouver faces the Sharks will be at home, and Vancouver will be on that back-to-back. So if you think the Sharks can win one of them or cover that puck line, it's probably in the next one. You look at them, 0-7 on the road this season, 0-7 on that puck line, 4-13 on the puck line overall, and 3-13 straight up. So it's a hard spot to back the Sharks on the road. Could they pull off the upset? Stranger things have happened, especially with the schedule ahead for Vancouver. My thoughts here are, give me Vancouver to come out hot out of the gate. The Vancouver Canucks have lost their last couple of games, which, has irritated the heck out of them. With the Avs on deck, I'm afraid of that last-minute push by the San Jose Sharks. If somehow they can score on Demko, I have a little bit of puck luck, I don't want to lay the 2.5 here, where the value is on the extended puck line with the Vancouver Canucks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the first period puck line for the Vancouver Canucks. Laying a half a goal in the first period is -106. So much value here. While you're not getting plus money, I expect the Vancouver Canucks to get off to that very hot start right out of the gate. Now I'm going to look at the first period over 1.5 as well. It's a little juicy at -140, but I do expect a couple of goals at least in the first period. We know the last time these teams played, it was a 10-1 win for the Vancouver Canucks. So if you think they're going to explode like that, Blackwood is confirmed in net for the Sharks. We know he played one really good game. the start of the season versus the Avs. That was a 2-1 loss for the San Jose Sharks. So Blackwood can have glimpses. The Vancouver Canucks are so strong offensively, though, averaging 4.17 goals per game and 29.2 shots on goal. They're the third best power play overall in the league. And we know the San Jose Sharks rank 32nd in everything. They're the worst team across the board. They've also struggled in Vancouver the last 5 meetings, haven't won one of them. So give me that first period over 1.5. Give me the puck line for the Vancouver Canucks in that first period, laying a half goal at -106. I also think we'll see a fast goal out of the Vancouver Canucks straight out of the gate, hitting Blackwood. That goal in the first 5 minutes coming in at +160. Now, let's talk about goal scorers, and we have to talk about the fact we keep hitting on Quinn Hughes. He is making us money. The start of the season, we could get Quinn Hughes for an anytime goal at +500. Saturday night, Quinn Hughes for the anytime goal was +300, still hit. Looking at it this morning, I was like, no, they've put it down to +260. And this number is going to continue to drop as Quinn Hughes continues to make us money. I still like the value at +260 for Quinn Hughes. He's like Cale Makar. He's a strong defensive a player that takes shots from those blue lines and is able to find the back of the net. He's so quick and fast out there. And his skating skills, he's just so different out there. I love what we see out of him. Now, you can also look at Pettersson for the anytime goal coming in at +115. He didn't get a goal in that last loss on Saturday night, so I'd expect him to bounce back. And JT Miller was the first goal scorer for the Vancouver Canucks in the last game. His anytime goal at +150. If you're looking at someone that you think can score for the Sharks, I think Hertl has the best opportunity. He's coming in at +230. Again, I'm not banking a lot on the Sharks team. I think if they're going to be able to keep one tight with Vancouver, it's next Saturday when Vancouver's on that back-to-back. We saw Vancouver on the back-to-back after a really hard game that went to overtime. I believe it was versus Seattle. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then go to Calgary and then lose to Calgary. So it could be an opportunity for the Sharks on Saturday, but that's where I'm going, you guys. That's all of the games on the board. Hughes, anytime goal. Yeah, it's been making them so much money, Matt. I love that you're on that as well. So Vancouver in regulation. Yeah, Vancouver in regulation, another nice way to go. They should be able to get it done. So you guys, that's all of the games. I am live on Game Time Decisions, so make sure you go over to Sports Grid and check that out. I will be on with Kevin Walsh at 6:25 Eastern, myself and Taylor Mathis, going over everything we're liking on tonight's primetime game. I tell you, we've got one of the best rematches here of the Super Bowl between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Can't wait for that game, but join me at 6:25 on Game Time Decisions, and then I'll be on Sports Rage with Gabriel Morency and Cam Stewart. I'll be on that one at 10:10 Eastern tonight for I think about an hour. So make sure you join me over there as well. Joe, I'm sorry we had to start early today, but you can go back. You can watch everything. I'm going to get those bookmarks up right away. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here on the daily. Remember, if you're watching on IG and want to go back and catch the show and some of these games, head on over to Sports Grid on Twitter, on X. Those bookmarks will be up pretty quick here. Thanks, Joe. All the best to all of you guys out there. Let's make some freaking money on the ice tonight. Tune into Sports Grid for all of my bets on the primetime game, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.